Okay, so good morning, one and all. So far, in this network analysis, we have been discussing about various topics and methods to analyze electrical networks. Okay, so almost we came to end. We came to last unit of your network analysis. That is coupled circuit. Coupled circuits. So these coupled circuits mainly deals about the magnetic circuits. Magnetic circuit analysis of magnetic circuits, phenomena happening in the magnetic circuits. So far we have been discussing about electrical circuits. That is through conduction, through electrical conduction, and now we are going to see about coupled circuits. Okay, so I think you had a little bit introduction to electromagnetics in your physics, in your intermediate. So it is also extension of that electromagnetics which you studied in your intermediate. So here this electromagnetics plays vital role in various streams, including both electrical and electronics engineering. In electrical engineering, the electrical machinery, the electromagnetics plays a vital role in the design and operation of electrical machines. Coming to electronics, satellite communication, the microwave communication, and radar, microwaves. So these are the various fields where the electromagnetics plays vital role. So therefore, if you think electrical engineering, the electrical motors, generators, and transformers mainly based on the principle of electromagnetic induction. So especially the transformer works on the principle of mutual induction, which is used to step up, step down the voltages in the larger amounts in the area of power systems. So whereas in your electronics engineering, the broadcasting of signals in terms of radio signals or television signals, as well as the satellite communication, radar technology. So these are all various fields where this electromagnetic plays vital role. So therefore, if you are strong enough in electromagnetics, you can find very good opportunities in the radio, television broadcasting stations, and satellite communications and electromagnetic research laboratories, and especially in these sections. Okay, now we are going to see some of the aspects of electromagnetic circuits in our today's lecture. So as a part of it, here we are going to see introduction, some basic definitions, self and mutual inductance, series and parallel inductors, dot convention, and some of the examples based on these topics. Okay, this is all what we discussed, so you can go through it later. And coming to here, the circuits are said to be conductively coupled because of one loop affects the neighboring loop through current conduction. So what we discussed so far. So for the flow of current, there must be a conductive path, a wide path must be essential to transfer electric current from one place to another place, one point to another point. So while transferring electrons from one place to another place, we must have a wide path, that is called conductively coupled. Whereas coming to magnetic circuits are when two circuits are said to be magnetically coupled. Okay, so here when two loops with or without contact between them affect each other through the magnetic field generated by one of them, then they are said to be magnetically coupled. So here, so there should not be mandatory of any wide path. So without wide path, there is a possibility of transfer of energy from one coil to another coil, one loop to another loop, either wide path or without wide path. So then they are said to be magnetically coupled. Magnetically coupled. That means, so even without wide path also, you can transfer energy from one path to another path. Then they are said to be magnetically coupled. So we will see how the energy will be transferred from one path to another path, or how one will be affected without connecting to the other. Without connecting to the other. So that's what we are going to discuss in this today's lecture. Okay. So here, before going to discuss about the actual topics of the electromagnetic circuits or coupled circuit, we will recall some fundamentals of electromagnetics. In that, the right hand thumb rule. And here in electrical circuits, when you apply a voltage, a current flows through the circuit. Like that, in a magnetic circuit, when you apply a voltage, to the circuit, the amount of flux will be produced, or an amount of flux will be set up around the coil. Okay. So therefore, how to find the direction of magnetic flux? So the direction of magnetic flux can be determined by the right hand thumb rule. See here, from the figure, suppose if you hold the conductor with your right hand, where your thumb points the direction of current, the fingers gives the direction of magnetic field. So therefore, the direction of magnetic field can be determined by the right hand thumb rule. So if you pass current through any conductor, a magnetic field will be set up all along the length of the conductor. So therefore, if you want to find the direction of that magnetic field, you have to use your right hand thumb rule by holding the conductor with your right hand. In that, while holding the conductor with your right hand, your thumb has to point out the direction of the current. Then your fingers shows the direction of magnetic field. So these are the lines of flux. Okay. Now, so here, what is magnetic flux? So the number of magnetic lines of force created in a magnetic circuit. The lines of force created in a magnetic circuit. The unit of magnetic flux is Weber. Coming to flux density, the number of magnetic lines of force created in a magnetic circuit per unit length, per unit area, which is perpendicular to the lines of direction of flux lines, or simply flux per unit cross section. So this is denoted with B, where B is equal to flux phi by A. The units of flux density is equal to Weber per square meters, or Weber per meter square, or Tesla. Coming to magnetomotive force. The magnetomotive force. The force which drives or tends to drive the magnetic flux through the magnetic circuit. So in electrical circuits, the electromotive force, EMF, the force which is required to move the electrons, called electromotive force. Like that here, the magnetomotive force, the force which is required to move the magnetic flux, is called MMF, magnetomotive force, where MMF is equal to number of turns into current, N into I, where N number of turns for current, unit is ampere. So therefore, its unit is ampere turns. Unit of MMF is ampere turns. Coming to magnetic field strength, the magnetomotive force per meter length of magnetic circuit, magnetic field strength or magnetic field intensity, where H is equal to Ni by L, ampere turn per length, length. Okay, magnetomotive force per meter length. So these are all some some basic definitions. Okay, now we will see the analogy between the magnetic and electrical circuits. Magnetic and electric circuits. Okay, so if you come to electric circuit, the closed path for the electric current is called electric circuit. Electric circuit. So for the flow of electric current, there must be a closed path. There must be a closed path. When closed path is there, so if you apply voltage that drives current, that current completes a path. That current completes a path. That is called electric circuit. Electric circuit. Whereas in the similar way, in the magnetic circuits, okay, the closed path for magnetic flux. The closed path for magnetic flux is called magnetic circuit. So here in place of current in the magnetic circuits, the flux comes into picture. Flux comes into picture. Magnetomotive force, electromotive force. Electromotive force drives current. Magnetomotive force drives flux. Flux. If path completed by current is called electric circuit. If path completed by magnetic flux is called magnetic circuit. Magnetic circuit. So here the flux that is shown here. The current I is equal to V by R, EMF by resistance, where here flux is equal to MMF by reluctance. MMF by reluctance. So here resistance is here resistance opposes the flow of current. R is equal to rho L by A and measured in ohm. Whereas in magnetic circuits, in place of resistance, reluctance comes into picture. The reluctance opposes the flow of magnetic flux, that is given S is equal to 1 by A mu, which is measured in ampere turn per Weber. Okay, and EMF, MMF, current, flux, current is measured in amperes, flux is measured in Webers. Coming to conduction or conductivity, conduction is reciprocal of resistance, where permeance, conduction or conductance becomes here permeance. Conductance, permeance. Okay, reciprocal of reluctance. Conductivity, permeability. Conductivity, permeability. Resistivity, reluctivity. Whereas current density is similar to flux density. Current density J is equal to I by A, ampere per meter square. Whereas flux density B is equal to phi by A, Weber per meter square. Weber per meter square. Okay, so this is the similarities between electrical and magnetic circuits. Electrical and magnetic circuits. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the actual magnetic circuits. Magnetic circuits. Okay, in that the self-inductance. Self-inductance. It is called self-inductance because it relates the voltage induced in the coil by time varying current in the same coil. Okay, so here if you apply an alternating current or voltage to the inductor, so like this here, that is this. So here there is an inductor. If it is supplied by an alternating current, time varying current, that is time varying current, so it sets up a time varying flux. It sets up a time varying flux around the coil, So as this flux is time varying, so therefore the flux cut by conductor also keep on changing. The flux cut by conductor also keep on changing with respect to time. So therefore, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, when flux cut by conductor changes, an EMF will be induced in the conductor. So here, so due to supply of alternating current to the inductor, a time varying magnetic field produced around the inductor. So therefore, the flux linking by inductor is keep on changing with respect to time. So therefore, the coil finding change in flux. So therefore, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, an EMF will be induced in the coil. Because of change in flux produced by coil itself. itself. That's why it is called self-induced EMF. That's why it is called self-induced EMF. Okay, so here it is, that's why here it is defined as, it is called self-inductance because it relates the voltage induced in the coil by time varying current in the same coil. Okay, so then we'll discuss that issue again. So therefore here, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, voltage V is induced in the coil due to change in flux produced by coil itself. Flux produced by coil itself. That's why it is called self-induced EMF. Self-induced EMF. So therefore, according to Faraday's law, V is equal to minus N into d phi by dt. Minus N into d phi by dt, where N is equal to number of turns in the coil, where d phi is change in flux. And this minus sign is given by the Lenz law. So the Lenz law says that the EMF induced in the coil, is opposite to the cause producing it. So therefore, the cause is the cause producing it. Okay. So therefore, it is produced by the voltage. So therefore, it opposes the cause, which is cause to the produce the voltage. So V is equal to minus N into d phi by dt, where this d phi by dt is equal to change in flux with respect to time. But here, this flux is proportional to the current. So therefore, the change in flux is caused by the change in current. So d phi by dt can be written as d phi by dt is equal to d phi by di into di by dt. D phi by di into di by dt. If you cancel di, you get d phi by dt. Okay. So then you substitute this value here. So V is equal to minus N into d phi by di into di by dt. So if you cancel di, okay, or sorry, should not cancel here. So V is equal to minus N into d phi by di into di by dt. That's what we substituted from the previous expression. So from this we can write V is equal to minus L into di by dt. So then L is equal to here, where L is equal to N into d phi by di. Which can also be written as N phi by I, which is measured in Henry. Okay. So therefore, L is equal to N into phi by I, or N into d phi by di. So you can calculate the value of inductance of any coil by using this formula, N into phi by I. Okay, so we know already the property of the coil here. The property of the coil that opposes any change in current flowing through it is called self-inductance. That means self-inductance of the coil means, okay, it is the property of the coil that opposes the change in the current flowing through that coil itself. The change in current flowing through that coil itself, that is called self-inductance. Whereas self-induced EMF means, self-induced EMF means the EMF induced in the coil, due to change in flux produced by coil itself. Or due to change in current flowing through coil itself. Okay. Whereas the self-inductance does not prevent the current from changing. It serves only to delay the change. So that means here this inductance doesn't prevent the change in current, but it delays the change in current. Okay. So therefore here, finally, the self-inductance means it is a property of coil that opposes current flowing through the coil itself. Current flowing through the coil itself or flux produced by the coil itself. Flux produced by the coil itself. Okay. Okay. Whereas self-induced EMF means the EMF induced in a coil due to change in flux produced by the coil itself. Change in flux produced by the coil itself, or the EMF induced in a coil due to change in current flowing through coil itself. Coil itself. That is called self-induced EMF. Self-induced EMF. And self-inductance, where L is equal to N into d phi by dt or N phi by I. N phi by I. That's why it is called self-inductance. Self-inductance or self-induced EMF. Self-induced EMF. Okay. Then the mutual inductance. The mutual inductance. Just read out the sentences. When two inductors are coils, when two inductors are coil are in close proximity to each other, magnetic flux caused by a current in one coil links with the other coil, therefore producing the voltage in the second coil. Okay, so here if you come to this figure, so if you apply a time varying current through the first coil. So here, when current flowing through the first coil, a magnetic field will be set up around the coil. So now, so if you bring another coil very close to the first coil, so if you bring the second coil very close to first coil, that is called close proximity. When two coils are in close proximity, the sum of the flux produced by the coil 1 okay. Now, so if you come to this, if you bring another coil very close to the first coil, so therefore sum of the flux produced by the first coil is also linked with the second coil. So as it is time varying flux, so therefore the flux cut by both conductors is keep on changing with respect to time. So therefore the flux cut by both coils are changing. So therefore an EMF will be induced in the coil 1 itself and coil 2 also. Coil 1 and coil 2. But the EMF induced in the coil 1 is due to change in coil 1 itself. Due to change in flux produced by the coil 1 itself. That's why the EMF induced in the first coil is called self-induced EMF. The EMF induced in the first coil is called self-induced EMF. Whereas the EMF induced in the second coil, is due to the flux produced by the change in flux produced by the neighboring coil. Okay, the EMF induced in the second coil is due to change in flux produced by the neighboring coil. That's why it is called mutually induced EMF. It is called mutually induced EMF. That is what is called mutual understanding. Mutual understanding while sharing something. While sharing something. So when you are sharing something, then those two are said to be mutually understanding. Mutually understand. So that's why here, that's why this EMF is called mutually induced EMF. Okay, so therefore, if you come to self-inductance, it is a property of coil that opposes change in current flowing through coil itself. Whereas coming to mutual inductance, it is the property of the inductor or coil that opposes the change in current flowing through the neighboring coil. Okay, through which it has got an induced EMF. Okay, that is called the mutually induced EMF and mutual inductance. The mutual inductance is the ability of one inductor to induce a voltage across a neighboring inductor in terms of induced EMF. Okay, so that I hope you understood about the self-inductance and mutual inductance. Self-inductance and mutual inductance. Self-induced EMF and mutually induced EMF. Okay. Now, to understand the phenomenon of mutually induced EMF, okay, we will consider two cases. When we excite the first coil and first time, and we are going to excite the second coil once, and we are going to observe the mathematical expressions. Okay. Now, come to this case. So if you bring these two coils very close to each other with an inductance of L1 and L2, okay, where the number of coils, the number of turns in the coil 1 is N1, and number of turns in the coil 2 is N2. If you bring these two very close to each other, and if you excite the first coil under case 1, here an EMF will be induced in the first coil, and also EMF induced in second coil also. Okay, and the total flux phi 1, if you call phi 1, will be divided into two components. So some of the flux linking with the first coil and some of the flux linking with the second coil also. So if you nomenclate those fluxes as phi 1, the flux produced by the coil 1 linking with the coil 1, whereas phi 2, the flux produced by the coil 1 linking with the coil 2. So therefore, the flux of phi 1 consists of two components as phi 1 and phi 2. Okay, so therefore here the magnetic flux phi 1 from coil 1 has two components, where the phi 1 links only coil 1 and phi 2 links both coils. So therefore, hence the phi 1 can be written as phi 1 plus phi 2. Phi 1 plus phi 2. So according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, as I told you, so there is an induced EMF in the coil 1 as well as coil 2. So therefore, the induced EMF in coil 1 can be written as V1 is equal to minus N1 into d phi 11 by dt. Okay, so where phi 11 is the flux linking with the coil 1. So therefore, V1 is equal to L1 into the d phi 11 by dt. Okay, so from this we can write this d phi 11 is equal to d phi 11 by dt is V1 is equal to minus N1 into d phi 11 by di1 into di1 by dt. Which is equal to minus L1 into di1 by dt. Okay, where this L1 is equal to N1 into phi 11 by I1. N1 phi 11 by I1. Okay, whereas the voltage induced in the coil 2, is equal to V2 is equal to minus N2 into d∅12 by di1. d∅12 by di1. Okay, because see because this flux, this change in flux is due to change in current flowing through I1. Is it right? If I1 changes, the flux produced by Phi1 changes. If Phi1 changes, the flux cut by coil 1 and coil 2 changes. Remember? Okay. Okay, remember here I2 is 0. Right now I2 is equal to 0. So there is only I1 which produces flux Phi1. Okay. This Phi1 consists of two components, Phi11 and Phi12. Phi11 is the flux linking with the coil 1 itself. Phi12 is flux linking with the coil 2. Okay. But both are produced by coil 1 only. Coil 1 only. Where current is flow, I1 is flowing through coil 1. That's why here we have taken I1. So where N2 is number of turns, that depends, because here we are considering voltage induced in the coil 2. So V2 is equal to minus N2 d∅12 by di1 into di1 by dt. So therefore this can be written as minus M21 into di1 by dt. di1 by dt, where M21 is called the mutual inductance. Mutual inductance. See here, the subscript 21 in M21 means the mutual inductance in coil 2. The mutual inductance in coil 2 due to coil 1. Due to coil 1. Okay. So therefore here the mutual inductance between these two coils depends upon the flux produced by the coil 1 and how close these two. Okay, how close these two. If it is very nearer, there may be chance of linking more flux with coil 2. So therefore there may be possibility of inducing more and more amount of voltage in coil 2. Okay. And suppose if the change in flux is very less, so therefore the EMF induced in coil 2 also reduced. That's why here M21 is the mutual inductance of coil 2. Okay, due to coil 1. Okay, because of change in current flowing through coil 1, an EMF will be induced in the coil 2. That's why it is called mutually induced EMF. 2-1. The EMF induced in coil 2 due to change in current flowing through coil 1. Okay, that is given here. The subscript 2-1 in M21 means the mutual inductance in coil 2 due to coil 1. So like that, if you excite coil 2, the similar phenomenon comes into picture. Okay, though in the same circuit, but let current I2 flows in coil 2. So therefore here current I2 produces flux Phi2. Again here in that flux Phi2, some of the flux linking with the coil 2 itself, and some of the flux produced by the coil 2 linking with the coil 1 also. Okay, as the flux Phi2 is time varying. So therefore the flux linking with the both coils also changes. So an EMF will be induced in coil 2 as well as coil 1 also. So therefore the voltage induced in coil 2, V2 is equal to minus N2 into d∅22 by di2 into di2 by dt. Okay, actually it is d∅ by dt. Basically it is d∅ by dt. That d∅ by dt can be written as d∅ by di into di by dt. But here we are talking about second coil induced EMF, where Phi22 is linking. So therefore d∅22 by di2, it is caused by di2 into di2 by dt. So this can be written as minus L2 into di2 by dt, where L2 is equal to N2 into phi2 by I2. L2 is equal to N2 into phi2 by I2. N2 into phi2 by I2. Okay. Now, similarly here, an EMF will be induced in the L1. Induced in the L1. That is called mutually induced EMF. That is called mutually induced EMF. Induced EMF. Okay. So therefore, the voltage induced in coil 1 V1 is equal to minus. Okay. So so the EMF induced in coil 1 V1 is equal to minus N1 into d phi 2 1 by di2. So which may be written as minus M12 into di2 by dt. So therefore, the subscript 1,2 in the M12 means the mutual inductance on coil 1 due to coil 2. Due to coil 2. So therefore, since the two circuits and two currents are the same, so therefore M21 is equal to M12 is equal to M. Okay, which is the mutual inductance is denoted with M, which is measured in terms of Henry. In terms of Henry. Okay, so keep in mind the mutual coupling only exists when the inductor or coils are in close proximity. So that is important. So the mutual inductance exists when two coils are very close proximity, or there may be an electrical connection between those two coils. An electrical connection between those two coils. Okay, and the circuits are driven by time varying source, where inductors acts like short circuit to DC. So therefore, so here the mutual inductance comes into picture when these two coils, two or more coils, are very close proximity, and they must be, any one of them must be excited by an AC supply, time varying supply. Okay, so therefore this mutual inductance may not exist for DC supply because the inductor acts as short circuit to DC. We already discussed about it. Okay. Okay, so I will stop this lecture here, and we'll discuss the coefficient of coupling in the next class. Okay. So this is all about the self-inductance and the mutual inductance, self-induced EMF, and